Hello, hello. I'm going to get Christina on here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to 15 Minutes on Friday. I am waiting for Christina Barbaro from outside Chicago to join us. Let's see if she is going to jump on with us. I'm going to text her. Sent you the invite. Okay, let's try again. Hi there. Just getting started. Let's see if we can get Christina on here. Hi, there she is.
Hey,
Hi.
Jess, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are
I'm
you?
good, thank you. Thanks for having me today. Sorry, I'm poking around here. I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments off so I can see more of you.
Oh, I think you just do
Do I
one of
swipe
those and it'll go
swipe
away.
down? Like, okay, I'm not that old. I'll just
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jessica Gallison. You can call me Jess. I am a realtor in Northeast Florida. I service Southern Jacksonville, St. John's, and some of St. Augustine. It's really big. So I have a lot of knowledge in certain areas and a little bit of knowledge in other areas. I am joined today by Christina Barbaro. Is that how you say it? Barbaro?
Barbaro.
Barbaro. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm saying this wrong for sure.
No, everyone does. And honestly, oftentimes because it looks close to Barbara, I get Barbara all the time. They think that's my first name.
That's awesome. Christina is my referral partner in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, as well as Chicago. I do have some friends in Chicago. So if you're watching and you need some real estate, holler at your girl and I'll get you connected with Christina. Or you can just reach out to Christina and say, I'm friends with Jess. Um, Christina, tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate.
Yeah, so
This is a fun story.
I know it is a fun story. I had the opportunity. My dad is or he's retired now, but he was a real estate attorney for over 30 years in the area. So he had a lot they got a lot of stuff that crosses their desk, just kind of like you and I do, I'm sure. And so there was an opportunity that came about to flip a condo. So it was, small project, first one. Let's go ahead and do it. I was 28 years old at the time. I put everything I had, like every dime that I had into this, so much so that the bank put a stop on my check and called and said, "Did you write this check because it's everything that you have?" um so, we did my dad and I did that project together. And I was not licensed at the time. That was back in 2017. And he gave me 4 weeks to try to sell it by owner because I was not licensed. Spoiler alert, I failed.
Oh,
So I had to call in the professionals, and we got it sold right away. And then kind of after that, I was like kind of hooked. I'm like, I can do this myself. So went ahead and got the license. Didn't actually start until
mhm.
2019. So I will be going into my 6th year here in a couple of months.
That's awesome. I also got licensed in 2019.
Okay.
Um, for me, I got my start with a title attorney
Okay.
and got thrown to the wolves. And when we moved to St. John's, I decided that it was so much fun handing over keys. The
It is.
closing table is the most fun place ever, in my opinion.
It is.
Um, so, just having that experience and helping so many families with the signing portion and getting through all the legal stuff made me really excited to help lots of people. So here I am, 6 years later, getting it done.
Yep.
So, Chicago, tell us about outside Chicago. I grew up in Florida, so I have this like weird thing when I travel places. I'm like, why do people want to live here? Especially when it's cold, because I'm a big baby. So, tell me what's amazing about Chicago in the suburbs.
Okay, yeah. It's not the winters, I'll tell you that. Nothing is amazing about that. And I think everybody knows that. But truly, it's the summers here. We have a huge recreational platform in all senses of the word. So Chicago itself, the city, has like 26 miles of coastline essentially. With fresh water on the lake. And like 18 or so of those miles have a paved path where you can go up and down. I used to ride my bike to work every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I used to be able to take it, and it was about a 7 mile ride, but it was about a mile and a half to get to the path, and then boom, I was there. And
That's
and it's
awesome.
like the best views you could imagine, and
Yeah,
they make it people friendly. There's stuff to do along the way, things to see, things to do. So it's awesome. And if you're not a water person, Cook County, which is where the city of Chicago, is within, but it also has, surrounding
yeah.
suburbs within it as well. Cook County alone has like 70,000 acres of forest preserve land. So
Wow.
we had a heat wave last weekend of like 40 degrees, and went out to the trails for a little hike. It was packed. It was like summer because everyone's been cooped up for so long. It's just like everyone's like, we're taking advantage of this moment to get outside. So and even in the winter, those forest preserves, I mean, cross country skiing, sledding, all that kind of stuff, snowshoeing, we have all that too, even for the winter folks. So there's
That's
always there's
awesome.
something for everybody, you know?
Love that. I have not been to Chicago, but I know Chicago is a mecca for foodies. Do you have some restaurants you love in Chicago?
Always. And honestly, I live in the suburbs, but I love working in the city because it forces me to go there. And then anytime I go there, I'm just texting my friends like, hey, let's go to our spots.
Yeah.
It's actually restaurant week
Oh,
this week.
nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys do anything like that, but basically
Yeah.
they offer like a tasting menu for a set fee. It's usually 3 or 4 courses, and you get to choose 3 or 4 things for a starter, entree, dessert, and get to sample the menu, which is like the
That
best.
is the best. I don't know of that in Jacksonville. I'm gonna have to reach out to some restaurateurs and see if we can get that going in Jacksonville.
I'll send you our link because it's awesome. And now the suburbs have kind of caught on. So, a few of our suburbs have small little downtown areas. There's a couple that I would recommend for people that kind of want that city vibe, but not necessarily be in the city. We have a few really good suburbs that have really good downtown areas, and they're kind of catching on and playing off of what Chicago does with Restaurant Week.
I just noticed, I worked in restaurants for a long time, and I just noticed that you guys got a Legal Seafood recently. If
Okay.
you haven't checked out Legal Seafood, it's a Boston-based company, and
Okay.
I worked for them for almost 15 years. I love them. So give it a try.
Okay.
They have some amazing standards on quality and freshness that just can't be
Okay.
beat.
That's
Um,
great. I'm a seafood girl, like through
oh,
and through. Love
oh,
it.
that's awesome.
That's my go-to.
They used to serve their clam chowder at presidential inaugurations. I don't know if they do anymore, but
Legal
uh,
seafood. Okay, I have to look
yes,
that up for sure.
check it out. A little plug on the side. I love you, Legal Seafood. Um,
Sponsor me.
I worked for them they taught me everything I know about business. So I love my Legal Seafood
So you
piece.
were a hospitality background
I
too, then. So was I.
am, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the hospitality background gives us something as realtors that others maybe don't have. I have that whatever it takes mentality. Let's just get it done. I am not above doing anything. Do you feel the same way?
I agree.
You
100%.
know, last week I was cleaning Spanish moss out of trees for one of my clients because they were going to cut them down. And I was like, what are you doing? You don't
Wow.
cut down fruit trees.
Wow. So that's what they do if they're like overgrown, just cut them down?
Oh, well, these people wanted to just cut them down, but I
I
was like, no.
gotcha. I gotcha.
They were kind of getting strangled by Spanish moss. A lot of people call it
Yeah.
this because they forget what it's called, but I don't know if you've seen any pictures of the old Florida with the trees and the Spanish moss. It's just kind of everywhere. And yeah, sometimes they strangle the trees, but I was like, no, no, we can fix these trees.
For us, that looks like, okay, I'm gonna go shovel the driveway of the vacant house.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, no shoveling for me.
I hear you though. I totally get the mentality, and it's just, yeah, you're right. Work together, get it done.
Exactly. Tell me a little bit about who you serve.
Ooh, I don't say no to anyone.
Awesome.
But I truly do love. I have a soft spot in my heart for first time home buyers. Especially like because I recently went through that process. The first property I ever bought was that flip. And so I never lived in it. But now I have my primary, which I got in the last 2 years. And I just like to share that experience and stuff that I have learned throughout this whole process. Like, hey, your monthly mortgage payment can change if your taxes go up. Like, so this isn't,
Yeah.
you're doing something right now based on this, but that's going to change and it could change, taxes and insurance, which I definitely want to talk to you about.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Let's talk about that.
yeah. So just like those little things. And then the investor side of me, specifically, I guess if I had to niche that down, the flippers, because I love it. I truly love I like the beautiful things in real estate, but like the ugly things kind of are like what I really love. Like I love walking into a house and having to put like rain boots on because there's, 2 inches of water in the basement or whatever.
You got to come
That
to
just screams,
Florida.
opportunity.
You got to come hang out with me. My husband's a home inspector. He could tell you all the fun.
Oh, we could share stories for days, I'm sure. That's so funny. That's good. But yes, I want to talk about insurance specifically with you.
Yes.
You know, from where I come from, one of the top 5 places people are moving to is Florida, right? But obviously, you guys have, been in the media a lot for your weather and then obviously not being able to be insured. So, what
Yes.
can you tell us about that and like where you guys stand and what you think, the direction is heading into?
So, insurance is crazy. I honestly feel like the state should be separated into divided by three,
Mhm.
maybe even four, because there's certain areas in the state of Florida that get so much harder with hurricanes. People living in Tampa area, St. Pete area, people living in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, that area. Then there's, the Palm Beach, Broward, Dade side of things. There's is it the Gulf of Mexico or is it the Gulf of America now? I don't know. But up in that curve and into the panhandle of Florida, that's another area. And then there's Northeast Florida,
Yeah.
where I live, 9 counties. We People here don't know about hurricanes the way that I know about hurricanes
Sure.
because I grew up in Palm Beach
Hmm.
County. I saw a ton of hurricanes. I went through Hurricane Andrew. My home got destroyed in a hurricane around 2004. We've seen a lot, and there are lots of opportunities where hurricanes just destroy things. There's going to be that in any state, but in Florida, a couple years ago, almost all of the insurance companies kind of bowed out or just made it really expensive for homeowners. There's been a lot of legislative changes, and the the governors of Florida, not just Ron DeSantis, but the lawmakers, the policymakers in Florida are working very diligently to get some insurers back in. And I think there are 8 new insurers this year in the
Oh,
state of Florida. So
good.
Citizens is our insurance of last resort in Florida. So when other insurers come in, Citizens kind of just farms that out.
Okay.
So when they see that there's an opportunity for you to have insurance that's not last resort insurance, but is reasonably affordable within your policy, they push you out to another insurance company.
Okay.
And it's not a scary thing. It feels comfortable. It happened to me recently, and I called my insurance agent. I was like, buddy, what?
Yeah.
And he said, listen, I assure you, this is the best and most comfortable place for you to be. It's just really important that you have an insurance agent that you love and trust, um, because
Agree.
I talk to him more than I should, but I've never made a claim on my house, but I like to have all of the knowledge.
Yep.
And he does a really good job of making sure that I feel comfortable, and that's really important. The
So,
other small piece that I like to throw out there real quick is flood insurance. If you
okay.
don't live in a flood zone in Florida, it's all water. You should just have it. I pay like $400 a month.
Really?
I mean, I pay $400 a year for it. The peace of mind that I have for that $250,000 in coverage is massive.
Okay, so
So just do it.
even if you're saying even if you don't live in a flood zone, just get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes sense. It's so affordable that it just makes sense.
That's really a good insider tip. And so I just to be clear, Citizen is like a state-run program.
Yes.
And then you're saying so you can get coverage from them, and then if they think that you would be better served with a different carrier, they will recommend you at that time or
Yeah,
not.
they don't even recommend you. They just push you out.
Okay.
They sell your policy to another
Okay.
company and they take care of you.
So really, like
It's
there
okay.
is no problem essentially at this
It's
point.
okay.
Yeah.
The problem
Okay.
comes when you get a new bill.
Okay.
So, or if you have an old roof, there are certain things that you want to make sure of. Once your roof gets to about 15 or 20 years and
Hmm.
you have a shingle roof, the
Yeah.
insurance companies are going to start charging you more. So, no deferred maintenance is really important, especially for your major systems, water, HVAC, roof, and plumbing.
Mhm.
Ooh, sorry, my camera went crazy. I have a face tracking thing. So, but for the most part, if you get a huge bill, just call your insurance agent. And if you don't have an awesome insurance agent, find one or call me
Yeah,
and I'll hook you
they
up.
exist. Good. That's so good to know because I know, honestly, if I had to guess, I feel like that's what a good portion of my people that are kind of like, I know would make the jump. That's what's holding them back. Is that what's going to happen with that situation? But you
Yes.
did mention another situation, which I thought was hilarious, about people that move to your area and maybe another concern being the reptiles.
Oh, yes. So, so I I sort of feel like um people who don't live in Florida think that we just roam amongst the reptiles and they're just sort of everywhere. Alligators live in the water. As a Floridian, I grew up knowing that you don't swim in random lakes and ponds.
Okay.
It's
Here
just like,
you do.
right. And in Florida, if I see a kid in a pond in my neighborhood, I'm literally shouting at them, please, either you're going to get a disease or you're going to get bit by something.
Wow.
There's lots of retention ponds to make sure that, we're using the water responsibly.
Sure.
Um, there are snakes in the summertime. In Northeast Florida, where I live, we have scary snakes. There are five very venomous snakes. In Florida, we have three. In Northeast Florida, we have pygmy rattlers. We have water moccasins, and there's something else. Um,
Five is like five too many.
yeah, I'm with
Oh
you.
my gosh.
It's horrifying. So, there's tricks, there's things you can do to make sure that you stay safe from the
Sure.
reptiles. They don't come in your house, um, for the
You
most
better
part.
not. What, young lady?
I have heard of people having snakes in their house. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
But You know, you can sprinkle cayenne pepper on your doorways. You
Okay.
can enlist the help of a pest control professional, which I think is the smartest thing to do. Um, you just, you know, you pay a professional, you make sure that your house doesn't have any holes or cracks or, you know,
Right.
little pests can get in. So, yes, there are bugs. Yes, there are reptiles, frogs, snakes, alligators. For
What
the most part, they don't bother people.
what's the protocol with the alligators? Like if there's one just roaming the neighborhood, you just let it go? You let it be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you let it be.
Okay.
So if there's a alligator that seems to be friendly, um, it's important that we call someone
Okay.
because, sorry, my husband's in the background. Because it's a federal offense to feed an alligator.
Okay.
And that's really the only opportunity that we have for alligators to become really dangerous is if you're feeding an alligator, then it gets used to humans and then it's
Sure.
not scared and then it wants to eat humans.
Makes sense.
So, you know, we stay out of their way, they stay out of our way, and typically that's the best way to go about it. If I saw an alligator walking down the street, I would probably call the police non-emergency line,
Okay.
or I would probably call Fish and Wildlife, one of the two, and they come out and assess whether it needs to be removed or if it's safe and can just go back to the water.
Okay. Good to know. So you just call, which is what we would do anyways if we had, something crazy
Yeah, and
in our
it's even,
space.
you know, you see those crazy videos on the internet where people have alligators in their house or in their pool. There are lots of professionals that will come and take care of that if it
Okay.
happens. But in the 40, oh my gosh, 40 years that I've lived in Florida, I personally have never known anyone to have an alligator in their home or even in their pool.
Okay. Well, that's good.
That's huge.
Good stats. Good stats.
That's
I know we're a
major.
little over time,
Yes,
but
we
I
are.
wanted to ask you really quick because I think this is also super important. You and I talked about, maybe like what some challenges in my area are, and
Yes.
for me, I think the biggest ones are the crime,
Okay.
and I do think it's true what they show you on the news. Like
Okay. It is
it's
real.
yeah, it's real for sure. And I think it's just mismanagement, like it is everywhere else.
Yep.
But the other thing was a challenge for us is our taxes, our property
Oh.
taxes specifically.
Oh.
And and I know you guys are a no income tax state, so I wanted you to touch on that
No
because I think that's
state
huge and like
tax.
that concept does not even fathom in my brain. It's not a thought that lives there. It's crazy.
So, I have clients that are moving from Chicago, outside of Chicago this summer, and they told me they have to be here by June so they don't have to pay their 6 month their state taxes
Yeah.
because if they live in Illinois for 6 months, then they have to pay those Illinois state taxes. It took me a minute to wrap my head around that, but yes, in Florida, lots of people move to Florida and it's Florida's always at the top of the retire here
Mm-hmm.
list
For sure.
because we do not have a state income tax. It's just not a thing. And the other thing is we do not have an inheritance tax. So when you pass away and you leave your stuff, leave your money, your assets to your family, they're not paying taxes on it. You set up a
Love it.
trust, you put everything in there. Your family's not coming out of pocket for anything unnecessary. Even major politicians who may have primary residences in other places,
Mm-hmm.
also own homes in Florida because they have a lot of money. And eventually they don't want that money going to the government, even though they work for the government.
It's
They want their
strategy.
family to keep it. Yes. So that inheritance tax and the state tax is huge for us. It definitely helps with our quality of life here.
I bet. Yeah. I can't even imagine. That would be amazing. And, do you work with, you probably see people that, are setting these different structures up. Do you have people that you work with there that you would recommend, to somebody moving there to, hey, once you get here, get this set up?
Absolutely. The title companies that I work with, I only work with a title company that has an attorney on staff. We
Hmm.
are a non-attorney state. So title companies can run with just a licensed title agent.
Hmm.
But I think it's really important to have an attorney available when you're purchasing a home, just because things
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And the attorneys that I work with have set up trusts, have set up ladybird deeds, have set up all kinds of options for my clients so that their family can hold on to as much of their wealth as possible.
That's awesome. We
Yeah.
are an attorney state,
Yes.
which, like you said, like honestly, from the point we get something under contract for a client, it kind of just goes to the attorneys and we're a little, helping move it along. But the heavy lifting then comes on the attorneys at that point.
You guys
Um,
don't negotiate any repairs or anything, right? The attorneys do it
the
for you.
attorneys Yeah, well, the attorneys will start that process, and if, the agents need to work together to get over a specific hump, depending on what it is, then of course, yeah, but all of the correspondence will go back and forth between the attorneys at that point.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and that's kind of another plus of working with me is my sister is a real estate attorney locally.
Yes.
So
It's
she took
amazing.
over my dad's practice. They have two attorneys, two paralegals, and they're local. So they work with the title companies themselves as the title agents
Awesome.
in the area. So they have great connections all across the city and the suburbs, and they use a specific title company, and those people truly do bend over backwards for us to get things done.
That's
Which is
awesome.
great.
We have one question, outdoors with John. I'm looking at a second home. Would it be better to have primary in Florida or Illinois from a federal and state tax perspective? I think we'll have to join forces to answer this question. I think personally that it would probably make sense to have that primary in Florida because you're not paying state taxes. You can't take advantage of that no inheritance tax unless you have a primary residence in the state of Florida. To me, that makes the most sense. If
Yep.
I think if you're living in Illinois, you need to pay those state income taxes if that's
One
your
one
primary.
100% agree with you. Just stay
Awesome.
in
So
Florida.
outdoors with John, when you're ready for that second home, holler at your girl. I got you. There's some beautiful options. If anyone has questions for Christina or anyone has questions for me, you can drop them in the comments. You can shoot us a DM. I will put Christina's contact info in the comments when I publish this as a video. And I'm sorry we went long, but thank you for hanging out and watching with
Yeah,
us.
this was so fun.
Yes, thank you so
15
much for
minutes is not
joining.
enough.
I think I'm too chatty for 15 minutes.
Same. Way too chatty.
We're gonna try though. We're gonna try and keep it tight. Thank you to everyone who stayed to watch. And Christina, you're lovely.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're
This was so
great.
fun.
Yes. I hope to talk to you
Yep.
soon.
Take care.
Have an
Thanks, Jess.
awesome weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.